Psychic and clairvoyant scams are designed to trick you into giving away your money, usually offering help in exchange for a fee. Psychics are technically breaking the law, but they are rarely prosecuted, even when they disappear and leave victims short of tens of thousands of dollars. Many individuals claim to possess psychic ability. Religious faith healers state that they are able to cure illness. Psychic readers claim to accurately divine the past and predict the future. Mediums often seem to be able to contact the dead. Law enforcement agencies are approached by individuals offering psychic tips they feel might help to solve a crime, and alleged psychics also have been used within industries and business. Investigations into these claims have often revealed evidence of trickery, and academics are exploring the psychology behind this rather unusual form of deception. Let's get into it.
Can a medium like James Van Praagh receive and interpret messages from people who have died? Some scientists believe that the techniques used by Van Praagh have more to do with his background than any type of psychic ability.
In my opinion, James Van Praagh is an actor who was for a long time in search of a role to play. If you read his book, if you read the interviews with him, it's all there. He grew up in the theater. He worked for Paramount Studios. He hung around Hollywood types in hopes of finding work. He finally found work as an actor playing the role of a medium, and he's now very successful.
Psychologists like Michael Shermer contend that Van Praagh's so-called psychic ability is best understood in terms of the different types of readings that anyone could perform.
Cold readings are where you literally read somebody cold. You've never seen them before, you haven't gotten information on them, and you just start throwing stuff out, lots and lots and lots of comments and questions. And the way that works is most of what you say are misses, but people will remember the hits and forget the misses, and the reason you get hits at all is through random chance.
A warm reading makes statements about people that are true for virtually everyone.
We almost all have pictures of our lost loved ones in the bedroom, next to the bed, on the hearth, over the fireplace, on the mantle where we keep these sorts of memories. So a warm reading would be to say something about that person that's true for everyone, and you're bound to get a hit, 80-90% certainty.
A hot reading is one where the medium actually digs into the client's past, retrieving seemingly otherworldly information from earthly sources.
I've had skeptics say to me that, or actually said on national television, that I actually have a computer system set up to everyone's house in the country, which I think is extraordinary, and I think I'd be the first one to tell people I had that, because I think that's incredible. I'll go around investigating people.
Information is more readily available than it's ever been in history, so it's easy to do. But in reality, I think most of the time, most psychics don't cheat like that. They don't have to. You can use these other techniques quite successfully.
Believers naturally reject such skeptical explanations and insist the skeptics are reacting to their own fear of the unknown.
Life after death makes the psychological and the medical community nervous because it's something we can't control, measure, touch, or see. And most scientists feel threatened. They feel like a loss of control when you put something underneath them that requires a little bit of belief, a little bit of faith, plus some science.
So how could one explain Van Praagh's supposed discovery of the brother Peter Redgrove never knew, and the appearance of a nun who had abused him 30 years earlier?
I often hear stories about things that Van Praagh gets that are just seemingly impossible, that I can't possibly explain. But whenever I see tapes of the whole reading, I have never once seen something that he got that he couldn't have gotten from, that I couldn't have gotten from the conversation and the feedback, that I can't explain through normal means, not once. So that tells me when I hear these stories, you couldn't have possibly known that there's exaggeration on the part of the storyteller. And when they go to see Van Praagh, almost everybody suspends their disbelief. They suspend skepticism. They want the act to be real, and they are willing participants in that.
And now with
Some psychologists tread the middle ground, believing Van Praagh's messages from beyond the grave should be given just as much credence as the advice that any of us seek from friends and colleagues.
I think that it's not a bad idea to put that on your plate alongside what the university professors are saying, and the Nobel Prize winner is saying, and your local neighbor is saying. But don't get overly attached to the channeled entity any more than you're getting attached to your neighbor or the local professor.
Van Praagh agrees and offers this advice to those who are considering a session with a medium or a psychic.
Everyone has to question things, yes, but don't be closed-minded. Be open-minded. See that life continues on. There are no endings, only beginnings.
It is heartbreaking, a situation that thousands of parents find themselves in every year. Their child is missing. Grief-stricken parents will turn to just about anyone, even so-called psychic detectives. So Lisa Guerrero and the I-Squad put some prominent psychic detectives to the test. Are they selling false hope?
I would tell her that I love her and I miss her.
A tearful plea from the mother of a missing teen. John and Joanne Lowitzer have been searching for their 17-year-old daughter, Allie, since she vanished last year.
What do you think happened?
But when the case made national news, the Houston parents say they became inundated with calls from so-called psychic detectives. They say some even showed up at their front door, promising their psychic visions could help bring Allie home.
He guaranteed me that he'd find Allie in 3 days. I mean, what parent wouldn't be excited to hear that you're going to have your daughter home in 3 days?
Mark Klass, whose daughter Polly was abducted and killed more than 20 years ago, warns families to avoid psychics, saying they prey on the desperate.
They descend like vultures.
And send police on one wild goose chase after another.
Never in the history of the world has a psychic solved a missing child case. Never.
But countless psychic crime fighters, like Portland, Oregon clairvoyant Lori McQuarrie, claim they've helped solve hundreds of missing persons cases.
I've been in business with this for over 30 years.
So we decided to see what would happen when we asked a psychic detective to help solve a missing persons case. Posing as the distraught brother of a missing child, we sent our producer, Charlie McElravy, to meet with Lori McQuarrie.
Hi, how are you? Very nice to meet you, Lori.
We showed her a photo of this missing girl, and she agreed to take the case for $400.
But I think it's solvable.
But what Lori didn't know was that the photo our producer gave her was actually a childhood photo of me. And obviously, I'm very much alive.
I don't believe she's alive. I'm sorry. I believe that it was a violent passing.
McQuarrie's sixth sense told her the girl was brutally murdered and sexually assaulted.
I think she was hit in the head with a rock.
But her visions didn't end there.
I think she can be brought home.
Pointing to a remote spot on this map, she even said she could help bring her body home.
And maybe even a mile or two from there.
The next day, McQuarrie sat down for an interview with me to talk about the work of psychic detectives.
I just had a gentleman in yesterday. 30 years ago, his sister disappeared.
She soon began talking about a recent case, but clearly her psychic abilities didn't tell her that I was the girl in the picture.
One of the first things I do in a case, Lisa, is I always make sure people know that if I feel the person is living or not.
So you'll always know,
yes,
when you talk to a family member, when you start a case, you'll know if this person is dead or
yes,
alive.
And that's the point, is that
every time.
Yes.
But apparently her psychic abilities didn't see this coming.
Lori, I'm going to show you something.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Does this girl look familiar to you?
Yes, she does. I worked this case.
This is a girl who you said was beaten and killed.
Okay.
This little girl is me. And you told somebody that she's dead.
Wait a minute. You didn't disappear?
I'm right here.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it?
How do you explain being completely wrong?
I can't explain it. I can't explain it.
You're charging them hundreds of dollars.
You know what, dear?
Hundreds of dollars. You're taking advantage of desperate people with a bunch of hocus pocus, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I think we'll go. Thank you. It's been an interesting experience. You all have a lovely, lovely evening.
Until I see my daughter physically, I'm not going to believe anything that any of them say.
All told, 10 different psychics told our producer that Lisa had been murdered. And the FBI says to Inside Edition that they are not aware of any criminal investigation that has been solved as a direct result of information provided by a psychic.
Four months after Sean disappeared, the Akers appeared on the Montel Williams show with self-proclaimed psychic Sylvia Brown. Brown told the distraught parents that Sean was dead and told them in great detail where to search for his body.
The guy was dark-skinned, although he wasn't black, he was more Hispanic looking. Had real long, dark hair, and strange enough Hispanic, but he had dreadlocks.
Then Sylvia Brown confirmed their worst fears.
Is he still with us?
Thankfully, Sean Hornbeck was found last week alive and well. His alleged abductor, Michael Devlin, is not Hispanic, and he didn't have dreadlocks at the time of the abduction. But she was terribly wrong about the most important detail of all.
Hearing that was one of the hardest things we ever had to hear.
The search for Sean was diverted, according to his parents, based on the misinformation Brown had given, costing the effort valuable man-hours. Sean's parents, Craig and Pam Akers, also say Brown offered to help them for money. But there are also some people she's hurt. For instance, on the Montel Williams show in 1999, Brown shared this information with the grandmother of a missing child named Opal Jo Jennings.
She's not dead, but what bothers me. Now, I've never heard of this before, but for some reason she was taken and put into some kind of slavery thing and taken into Japan.
4 years later, the little girl's remains were found near Fort Worth, Texas. An autopsy showed she was killed shortly after vanishing.
Almost 9 years ago, Amanda Berry's mom went on the Montel Williams show where resident psychic Sylvia Brown spoke of Amanda.
I don't think I'll ever see her again. Yeah, in heaven on the other side.
The WMMS morning show in Cleveland reenacted the transcript. The host read the part of the psychic.
I hate this when they're in water. She's not alive, honey.
Not alive? Then who's this?
I've been kidnapped and I've been missing for 10 years and I'm here, I'm free now.
I lost my boyfriend tragically a few years ago. They never found him. And I've had such a hard time since, every day.
The reason why you didn't find him is because he's in water. And to find him in water, it's like the girl that's missing in Aruba. You can't find somebody.
Well, it was September 11th. There was no, he was a fireman, but there was
no, see, I keep seeing him in water. Is there any way he could have drowned in water some way?
They never found a piece of him. Nothing.
From 9/11.
Because he says he couldn't breathe and he was filled with water. Well, if they were trying to put the fire out, Montel.
They could have, yeah.
No, they won't find him, but honey, that's okay, because it doesn't matter if they find him or not, he's still over there.
You had a question for Sylvia about your daughter, Michelle?
My daughter, Michelle, was 17 years old. She'll be gone 5 years, the 21st of this year. Sylvia, I don't know how she died. Please, if you can, how did she die?
She was shot.
Circumstances around her death?
She just collapsed in her room.
I don't know, but something looks like... Because it looks like a combustion.
They found nothing on the autopsy.
I don't care,
nothing.
but it looks like something hit her in the chest.
They did an autopsy. They did drug. You know, they do whatever they do. It's just she was a healthy child and
she was in her.
Just fell out in her room.
Just
went
fell
out.
like a golf club's fall or whatever.
I know, just went down.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there was something that hit her hard, but you know, something sharp.
Did she play sports?
Yes.
We are back with psychic medium John Edward, and now he is going to read members of our very own audience. When you do these kinds of group readings, John, how does that work?
Well, whatever is going to come through, I see, hear, and feel, and that's called clairvoyance, clairaudience, and clairsentience. And what happens is I don't see them like I'm seeing you. I don't hear them like we're able to speak. It's really just thoughts and like downloads, and it's like psychic sign language. So it's like if somebody was deaf and they communicated in symbols, it's the same thing, and then I have to figure out what they want me to say. So if I come to you, just say yes or no, and it's important that you might have an A-lister that you want to, I call it the A-lister, like, you know, you have your A-list celebrity on the other side you want to hear from, but I might connect with your ex-mother-in-law, the one that you didn't like. So...
All right, take it away, John. I'm getting out of the picture.
If I come to you and I talk about people being above you, it just means older, below you would be younger, and to your side would be around the same age. Names and initials come through. It's how I'm able to kind of tune in to like who's here. I am being pulled into the section. Somebody passed in a car accident, and I feel like the accident that happened was not their fault, which means something had to hit them. Either they're in the passenger seat or something happened, but I need to say it, but it's in this section over here. I know that the month of May is connected, or the 5th of a month is important in some way in the family, and they're telling me to talk about Tommy, 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 Tommy. So there's got to be a T name either living or connected to this. If this makes sense over here, you can raise your hand. Thank you. We're going to get mics to you. Thank you, guys. So just very simple. I don't know you, right? Okay. I just want to be really clear. Somebody did pass in a vehicle accident?
Yes.
And it was not their fault from what I'm being shown, correct?
No.
Okay, now, I don't know why, but they're showing me 5. So the 5 to me would mean somebody's birthday or anniversary is in the 5th month. There's something about the 5th of a month for somebody else that they want me to connect with. And I feel like I need to talk about dad, 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 dad. So is your biological father passed?
Yes.
Okay. Whenever the word biological falls out of my mouth, I know there are 2 fathers, which means you got to have another dad. So that had to be like either a stepdad or there's another father figure for you in some way, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And they tell me to say either Maureen, Marianne. There's an M name. Where's the M connection to you? Either living or past?
I have a cousin by the name of Marianne.
Marianne is, and Marianne's living?
Yes.
Okay. And somebody either passed from breast or lung cancer. They're showing me blackness in the chest?
My mother.
Okay. And she passed from the breast or lung cancer?
Lung.
And was that initially misdiagnosed? Like they were treating her for one thing, and then it got revealed because they had almost like an oops test. Like, and then they came back and said, I'm so sorry, this is this. Yeah. Now, is Jennifer Marie connected to you guys? Or Jennifer and Marie? Or Jenny Marie?
There's a Jennifer.
The Jennifer is living?
Yes.
Okay. Is the person that passed in the vehicle, was that her friend, or is that like your contemporary? I feel like I need to put it below.
It was my son.
Your son, okay.
He was 5 months old.
He was 5 months old?
Yes.
Okay, hence can't be his fault. So I need you to know that there's a J name like JM. I'm getting JM. So I want to say like Jennifer, but Jennifer goes with Marie, or her middle name is Marie. Or Jennifer and Marie on the same level. But if your mom is passed, and your dad is passed, and then I have this other father figure that we need to talk about, the baby is coming through there. Now, were you driving?
Yes.
Okay. I need you to know if you were driving and this accident happened and this child has passed and you're feeling that this is your responsibility and your fault. I see this a lot. I've been doing this work for 3 decades. There are moments that are so hugely inexplainable in life that we have to honor on a human level, this is terrible and this sucks. And then we look at it from a spiritual understanding and we say that that soul, that energy came in for the experience, and for some reason you guys needed to have that. But that energy stays with you for the rest of your life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, I'm just curious. He wasn't a twin?
No.
Why am I seeing twins?
My brother was a twin.
Is he passed?
No. But his
hold
twin,
on. I was just going to say, I have a twin that's passed.
Yes.
Okay, so you have twin brothers, but one of them passed?
It was a girl.
Okay, but one of the twins passed, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and the Karen, Carol, C or K, either living or passed? Oh, that's your aunt. You have the aunt with the C or K. On your dad's side of the family, you have the aunt with the C or K. Like, there's like Aunt K or Aunt...
Yes, Aunt K.
Okay. This is your family's way of coming through. Just know that he's okay, alrighty?
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to talk about, can I be very, very personal?
Yes.
Really, really personal?
Yes.
Really, really, really personal?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Was there a moment where you didn't think that you were going to be able to cope with this and you were going to end your life?
Yes.
Okay. And your faith helped got you through that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You are a beautiful example of how important it is that when we go through difficult times, holding on to your faith, whatever that faith might be, helps provide a foundation in recognizing how we can we never get over stuff, but we can manage to get through it. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Tonight, she believes she has psychic powers. He says, prove it. Spiritual medium and best-selling author Rosemary Althea squares off with professional skeptic James Randi. We'll take your calls too next on Larry King Live. We welcome to Larry King Live Rosemary Althea, spiritual medium and healer and author of the new book, You Own the Power. It's been a bestseller for quite some time, and there you see its cover. And in Miami, the amazing, that's the way he's billed, the amazing Randi, James Randi, is paranormal skeptic known as the Amazing Randi and president of the James Randi Educational Foundation. He has long been a critic of those in the psychic world, and this is the first time the two have met up. Is that correct?
Yes, that is right.
Thank you very much. Now, Rosemary, will you please explain what you believe? No, I don't say what you believe. What you do. What are you able to do?
I'm able to contact the spirit world. I can see, hear, sense, feel, in every way communicate with the spirit world. I'm also a spiritual healer, and I run a healing organization in the UK. I'm a teacher. I teach people to develop their own abilities, to get in touch with their own soul, their own sensitivity, and to develop that. I am a many-faceted,
You don't predict someone's future, though, do you?
I do see the future. I do.
And, that means it's
no, and I know absolutely that so much of our lives are predetermined. I think that we do have a free will, but I believe that most of our free will connects with our attitude, how we are, who we are, and what we are.
And this power was you found early in life?
Since I can remember.
You were a child?
Since I was a child, I've heard voices, seen faces, being able to connect with the spirit world, which was really terrifying for me as a child, really scary. It's not something that I would want anyone else to go through, because, I grew up believing that I was crazy, like my grandmother. My grandmother heard voices, and she was a patient in a mental institution, a voluntary patient. When the voices came on strong, she'd put herself in there and get treatment.
Are you ever then not glad you have this power?
Not anymore, but I had to reach my early 30s before I could really accept and understand it.
James Randi in Miami, your thought on what Rosemary just said.
Well, I don't have visions and I don't hear voices, but ever since I was a very small child, I've had attacks of rationality every now and then, and they've lasted me quite well.
Meaning do you believe Rosemary is kidding herself, kidding the public, believes it, and is under or is something the matter? What is your belief about the process?
I really don't know as far as Rosemary is personally concerned, but I know that most of these people are aware of the gimmicks, the methods that they use to produce the effect that they may be speaking with the dead. They can do this very easily because people out there not only want it to be true, Larry, they need it to be true, and they will accept any kind of nonsense, any kind of irrationality, and any kind of rationalization of the failures of these people. It surprises me constantly.
So you believe, and then Rosemary and you can go at it back and forth, that I'll just sit around and listen. I just want to clear up one other thing. You believe that the dead is dead and no one can communicate with them, or do you believe that possibility exists and hasn't been proven?
I just
what
don't
do you
know,
believe?
Larry.
You don't know?
I don't know. I do know one thing, that it has not certainly been proven, and we have $1 million prize at the James Randi Educational Foundation, which is available to anyone who can prove it.
Now, when on March 6th, Sylvia Browne was here, the psychic, and she said she would take you up on this. Have you heard from her?
No, I've not. Larry, isn't that mysterious? That's 91 days ago, and on our webpage we have the Sylvia clock, which is ticking away. 91 days as of today, and she has not responded. We've sent her
now,
letters.
Rosemary, he'll give you $1 million. He'll give you $1 million if you can prove what you do.
Well, I'd like to respond to
Sure.
what James just said. And actually, we're actually going to begin this conversation by agreeing, because I agree with what he says, that there are many, many people who claim to be spiritual mediums. They claim to talk to the dead. There are many, many people. We all know this. There are cheats and charlatans everywhere. And it's an unfortunate part of my work and my job.
How do we, the layman, know who's who?
You have to be really skeptical. You know, everyone says to me, James Randi is skeptical. Well, and my reply is, I don't know James, you know, and it's nice to meet you, by the way. But you know, everyone says he's skeptical, and I say that's great, because so am I. I mean, I have questioned what I have done and my life, my experiences as a child, my experiences since I've been an adult, my experiences of yesterday. I question all the time what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what I'm doing. And James is absolutely right. There are many people out there who are taken advantage of. I am in total agreement with this. They're taken advantage of because they're extremely vulnerable. You know, I deal with people who have lost someone, people who have lost their children, people who have lost their mothers, their fathers, brothers, sisters. I deal with loss all of the time, and I see how vulnerable those people are.
Now, James, do you believe that Rosemary is fraud, misconceived, something wrong, or do you question whether she believes what she just said?
Well, I've seen a number of tapes of Rosemary, and she's not using any methods that are different from any of the other cold readers, as we call them in the trade. This is a process of probing, of making suggestions, of throwing out ideas, of asking questions, mostly of asking questions. And people who are subject to this, the victims of these scams, are people who will ignore the failures. They only listen to the ones that are hits. We found out that James Van Prague, for example, and John Edward have about the same percentage of success. 13% of their guesses are right. That doesn't sound very good to me.
And you think it's all guessing?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and so you think Rosemary, if we take a call now and someone says, tell me about my father, is guessing?
Well, we don't know who the phone call is coming from, for one thing, Larry, and it's a little bit better doing it over the telephone simply because she can't get any immediate feedback from expressions and such, but I'd be interested to listen to it, yes.
Do you think you could also do it?
I've done it in the past, but the problem is people don't believe that I have psychic powers, you see, and yet when I do it successfully for an audience who doesn't know who I am, and we've done this many times over the years, they argue with me afterwards saying, oh yes, you do have psychic powers. How can you possibly deny it?
You agree, Rosemary, that we do want to believe you? You have an edge going in. I would love to know.
I agree. I think there are so many people who really need to know. They need to know, you know, where their loved ones are. Did they die? What's happening? I think we all have to have that question. Yes. So I go in perhaps with that advantage. People want to believe me, which is why I'm really careful. I try to be really careful, and I take my responsibilities in this area very, very seriously.
What we're going to do on this show, and hold on, Jim, so we can take a break and come back. We will take some calls, and we will ask Rosemary to investigate some of her things. We'll ask James to comment as we go along. This is a first. Rosemary Althea and James Randi together. This is Larry King Live. We'll be right back. We'll be going to your phone calls shortly with Rosemary Althea, author of You Own the Power, and James Randi, the paranormal skeptic known as the Amazing Randi. Now, are you saying, James, just so we clear ourselves, that Rosemary doesn't believe what she's saying?
When I see the methods that Rosemary is using, Larry, they agree exactly with what we call cold reading, which is a hunt and fish sort of a system, asking questions, throwing out suggestions, and narrowing in on the thing. So I think that this is just another example of cold reading, and if it is, then certainly Rosemary is very much aware of what she's doing.
Okay. I think it's fair to say that I'm either a liar, a cheat, and a charlatan, without a doubt.
Those are your words. Not my words.
I'm saying we have choices. I'm either a liar, a cheat, and a charlatan, or I'm crazy and I have these weird visions that are purely from my imagination.
Or the other possibility is that you're the real thing.
Or,
right,
exactly, or that I am the real thing.
It's one of those three has
and
to be
it can
true.
only be one of those three.
Correct.
Now, you know, obviously I'm on TV. I'm going to tell you absolutely that I'm not a liar, a cheat, and a charlatan. And I totally believe, and I would sit and take a lie detector test for anyone. You know, strap me to the chair. You can ask me those three questions. Am I a liar and a cheat? Do I have these visions which mean nothing, or am I telling the truth, and have I really had these visions since I was a child?
But a crazy
have I
person
really
might
have
have
those?
visions
Okay.
too, and not be lying.
And then the other question is, you know, I have people out there listening. I have Chris and Mike out there listening. They lost their son in a very tragic accident. I told them weeks before they knew that their boy was going to help a friend of his to find a cactus and to bring a cactus home from Colorado. Neither of them knew what I was talking about. I had no idea what I was talking about. I was passing the message from Ryan to his friend.
Ryan, who had passed.
Ryan, who had passed. And sure enough, 3 weeks later, Chris determined she wasn't going to say anything to the friend. She was not going to mention cactus or anything. She was going to wait and see what would happen. The friend called, her son's friend called up and said, I've got something for you. A cactus. I felt that Ryan was with me in the desert, and I picked this cactus.
Randy, James, how would you explain that?
I don't explain it, Larry, because it's an anecdotal story. I deal with facts and evidence here and now.
Okay, that's a fact. These people are listening. In fact, there's a whole group of them listening. These people are listening. These people have had this experience. And James, I can give you names, addresses, telephone
numbers. These are all anecdotal stories, though, Rosemary. This is stuff that's happened in the past.
Well, you know, but they are other people's stories. They are other people's
James,
stories.
what she's saying is if she introduced you to Chris Smith, and Chris Smith testified to you, he doesn't know her, she told him the story, would that be evidence?
Larry, I've had testimony and evidence of this kind from leading TV personalities, people that you yourself know, whose names I won't mention, not to embarrass them, who have told me stories very much like this, and then when we've looked into them, we found out they didn't happen quite like that, to the point where the stories were not lies, but they were mistaken in their reception of them.
What then to you, James, is evidence?
Evidence is something that we do here.
You'd give $1 million to someone who did what?
Who could prove that they really are speaking with the dead.
And how would they prove that to you? Give me an example. What do you mean by prove?
Well, we have a test that we're working on right now for a couple of other psychics, and what we do is we have them do a reading for someone without any feedback, that is, without seeing their expressions and getting answers for them, and then we play that recording for 10 other people, all of whom believe that it's being done for them and for them alone, and they all give it a very high score, which is rather strange if the reading is not being done for them.
Well, I don't think that that's a way of proving, quite frankly. And,
well,
I actually think there are certain people who are very close-minded to my subject, James, and I think you're one of those people. And I think
my mind is perfectly open, but I don't have a hole in my head.
Well, and nor do I, and I really feel that if I stood on my head and whistled Dixie, I don't think it would impress you one little bit. I think that you have your own set thoughts and feelings, and I respect that very much. I respect your doubts, and you're right to be skeptical. Everyone is right to be skeptical, Larry.
Well, James,
we all should be skeptical.
What if a psychic told you something about someone you'd lost that only you knew?
I would be very, very much impressed with that.
Impressed? Would it be proof to you?
Very much. Pardon?
All right, in other words, could you read him?
I thought about this. You know, everyone said to me before I came on the show, are you going to do James Randi? And I said, there is no point, because, I mean, in a private session, in a private session, I might consider. Well,
you believe he would say no, even if you hit it right?
No, I think that he would say, and rightly. Remember, I'm the skeptic here, and rightly so. well, she could have checked up on that. You know, she's had 2 or 3 weeks or something, by however long it is that we've known this show is going on. I could have, I mean, I can tell you honestly, I think I have seen him on TV, but I've never read anything about him, and I don't know anything about you, James. I'm sorry, but I don't. But, you know, I would take the lie detector test on that.
So if you told him something about his late father,
you know,
he could say...
Of course he could. I could have
so you'd be skeptical about him?
I could have had a team of people out there checking every detail about James, and I could sift through it and so on and so forth. That's what he's pretty much saying that I do, and he could be
Larry,
right.
there certainly would be things that she couldn't check up on, things that would be known only to me, and I could give those to you in a sealed document and then ask her for the answers. Right?
That would work.
I guess I don't know if that would work. I don't know if that would work.
Let me get a break, and what we'll do is we'll take some calls. We'll see what Rosemary does, and we'll see how James responds to it. And since James is a skeptic, we'll ask him to do some calls. Hey, try anything. Don't go away. James Randi, before we take phone calls, I had the honor of interviewing Dr. J.D. Ryan of Duke, the inventor of the term ESP, extrasensory perception, psychic phenomena and the like, and he thinks it was just in his infancy. He worked with cards. He would take a deck of cards, he'd look at a card, ask someone. And he did say that while he thought there were a lot of charlatans there were some people who would get 50 out of 52 cards, and he was just beginning to examine this phenomena. That is, he looks at a card, they tell him what the card is. Simple as that. Do you believe that there are things still unknown?
Oh, yes, there are many things still unknown.
You believe in the possibility of psychic phenomena?
Absolutely, or I wouldn't be in this business.
Right, so that we can the possibility of transmitting thought exists.
Oh, absolutely, the possibility, but the evidence for it just isn't there.
And so
Not
Dr.
yet.
Ryan agreed. He said they were on the road, but if you see a guy know 50 out of 52 cards, something's going on.
Oh,
right?
Yes, you bet. Either he's a very clever performer and he's doing a trick, or he's got the power.
No, Ryan is holding the cards.
Oh, yes, we understand that.
Yeah. All right, let's take a call. Steubenville, Ohio, for Rosemary Althea and James Randi. Hello.
Hello, thank you for taking my call. I am familiar with both of your guests via television, and both have valid points, but Rosemary, my father believed in you totally in all things psychic, and he's passed away, and I wondered if you could tell me anything.
Oh, I don't know if this is your father that I'm connecting with. That's the first thing I have to say. I never know who it's going to be, okay?
And what are you hearing now?
Well, first of all, I'm seeing, I'm looking. That's the process, is I'm looking. And I'm looking at a man, very slim build. I've no idea of his height. I'm sorry, I don't do heights well. But he's he's a slim-built man. Rather slender face, gaunt face. And I know that he had some problems with his chest and with his breathing. Yes. He tells me that his passing was very sudden and very quick. You notice I haven't asked this lady one question yet, and I don't intend to.
We haven't heard her comment yet, so go ahead.
Okay. Whether she understands me or not is not my issue here. I'm just trying to do my best for the man who is standing in front of me, and I am seeing this man
and he's
standing in front of me. Because he is talking to me as I'm doing this. And we're actually using some hand signals, and he's sort of, pointing to his chest. He's describing his breathing. He tells me at the end his passing was very sudden and very quick. And it's surprising because I know that he had problems and he was sick before he passed. He's nodding as I'm saying that. I see him nodding as I say that. But even though the family knew that he was sick, and he tells me he's laughing and he's telling me he knew he was sick, it was still somewhat of a shock when he passed.
Right, now stay right there. Ma'am?
Yes?
How correct is that?
She's exactly correct.
He was
on
slim?
his looks and on his health, he had open heart surgery and he had a pacemaker, but he was just a matter of time, but we didn't know when.
Right. William, was it a surprise or not a surprise?
It was a total shock. He had just planted a rose bush for my mother, and they had a nice day at the park, and he just was going to feed the dog and passed over.
And he was drawn and thin, and as you...
May I just say, you mentioned a rose bush, and he holds up his hand and tells me that there are 2 special rose bushes. You only mentioned one, and he tells me there were 2.
He planted 2 that day. You're right. One in my sister's yard and one in my mother's.
All right, now, hold on. James Randi,
yes.
Assuming, we have to assume that this lady doesn't know Rosemary and just called out of the blue from Steubenville, that it isn't a plan, assuming that. And let's assume that, we have to, or else it's...
Sure.
What do you make of what you just saw?
It's a typical cold reading technique. Most people do die suddenly. There's nothing unusual about this whatsoever. This would apply to thousands of people.
He's drawn and thin. He has chest problems. He dies suddenly.
No, he has chest problems and problems with breathing. When you die, you have problems with breathing. That is, I think, a medical fact. I don't think we can argue that very much.
James, you're a sweetheart. You're a sweetheart. You really are.
Oh, thank you so much.
And
Be patronizing. That's a good way out of it.
No, I'm really not. I'm not being patronizing. Please don't judge me. You don't know me.
Sounds like it to me.
I'm really not. I think you're a sweetheart.
Rosemary, will you take us up on our $1 million offer and prove to me that you can speak with dead?
I knew that question was coming.
Why not do it?
Oh, you could see that psychically, could you?
No. I'm just a really sane and sensible woman who knows that question is going to come.
Would you take them up?
I'm not sure. I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no. I'm saying I'm not sure because, you know, many years ago, Larry, I had a very bad experience with some scientists who tested me and tested me and tested me and tested me. And every time I gave them something, they went away saying, wow. And then a week later or 2 weeks later, they came back and said, it's not enough. At first it was, you're as unbelievable as the Turin Shroud. That was what they said.
Well, we won't do it that way, Rosemary.
Let me get a break, and then you come back, and you tell her how you would do it, James.
Okay.
This is Larry King Live. We'll continue taking phone calls. Rosemary's new book is You Own the Power. James Randi's in Miami. Rosemary's here in Los Angeles. And Paul McCartney's here 1 week from tonight.
Oh.
Don't go away. James, this is a short segment, so I'll be getting your response and then breaking, and then we'll get back to phone calls. All right, what would she have to do? What would you do with her for the million?
Well, what we do when we do tests is we define them thoroughly in advance with the agreement of both sides. These are the questions that will be answered. And we'll seal them up in an envelope, and she will ask the questions, or she will be asked the questions, or she will ask them of the spirit or whatever, and we'll check them very obviously right in front of everybody else. There's nothing concealed. It's a simple, definitive test. She either succeeds or she fails.
And if she succeeds with, how many people does she have to succeed with?
Well, we would have to arrange the statistics. That's a difficult thing to do here.
Well, you'd give away $1 million if she did 5 people correctly in a row?
Well, it would depend on what you mean by correct. We have to do some definitions of that sort of thing.
Well, correct is, all right, a stranger comes in and what she just did. 1 rose bush, 2 rose bushes. Would that be correct?
Well, the woman supplied that information, remember. Now, here's
the 1 rose bush.
Larry, remember this fact now. When Rosemary went to do this reading, she said, I'm just getting somebody, I don't know if this is the right person. So if she were completely wrong, all she has to do is back out of it by saying, gee, I guess that wasn't the right person.
That's true. That you could have backed out by, she said that's not the way it looked, and you said it might have been his uncle.
Here's what I'm...
You mean you could have said that?
No, I could have said... Here's what I'm saying basically is, I actually don't know who I'm talking to when I first start talking to somebody. And, you know, I'll often say to somebody, if you don't understand what I'm saying, please check with your family. I had a situation recently where somebody's uncle came through from the spirit world. This person didn't know the uncle. The uncle died before she was born. The uncle kept saying to her, you have my bed, you have my bed. She thought I was crazy. I have to tell you, I wondered a little bit too. And she didn't know what I was. So she spoke to her father, and her father said, we gave you his bed.
Randy, don't you want her to be right? Don't you want to know that you go on?
No, not really, Larry. I don't have any needs in this situation. I just want to know what's true and what's not true. That's my only desire.
You don't care to know that this is not the end of life?
No, I do the best I can while I'm here. I try to do something while I really know that I am here, because I don't know what the future holds.
But if you did know, you wouldn't want to know that.
Well, if I did know and I knew there was another future, I perhaps wouldn't be the kind of person I am today. Perhaps I'd be a little meaner.
We'll be right back with more phone calls. Don't go away. We're back with Rosemary Althea, spiritual medium and healer, author of You Own the Power, and James Randi, paranormal skeptic, known as the Amazing Randi, president of the James Randi Educational Foundation. We go to Hanover, Pennsylvania. Hello.
Hello. I'm calling for information about my mother.
Now, what do you need to know from her?
Nothing, actually. But again, even though it makes me sound like I'm doing this cold reading, I have to tell you, immediately I am hearing something. But I really I have to be really honest about this. I don't know if it's this person's mother. I don't know who this person is
Well,
yet.
but you'd have
If
to
we had,
assume it, right? I mean,
not necessarily, no. It might be a grandmother. It might be somebody connected to somebody in the studio. I'm giving James incredible food here, absolutely. But I have to be really honest about what I'm doing. So I'm just saying that I am aware of, and I don't see yet, I'm hoping to see, but I'm aware of a lady standing just behind me, just behind my right shoulder here, who tells me that she died of cancer. She was very, very sick before she died. She's talking of hospital. She's talking of being in hospital before she died. And I'm actually going to use this little sketch pad here because she's talking about a house, something about a new house, something about a move. I don't know who she's talking about. I'm just telling you what I'm saying here. A move, a house, renovations to part of the house, something about the roof of a house, something about the roof of the house collapsing, I think I'm seeing her sort of very vaguely now. She's nodding at me as I'm saying that. She's again coming back to her illness, and again she tells me that the end of her life was sort of quite quick, which is, you know, often not the case with people who pass with cancer. But she tells me it was a blessing when it happened. It was quite quick, quite fast. She had cancer. She tells me she's talking about getting over, about thinking that she was doing better, thinking that she was doing well, and being fine for a while, and then suddenly the whole thing came back again, and then it was really fast. And
hold it right there.
Okay.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Your comment.
Yes, my mother did have cancer, and yes, she was had health problems. That she thought she was fine, and then it came back, and then she was gone within a matter of weeks.
All right. What about the house?
My brother is just moving into a brand new house. They just bought it and sold their house that they renovated, and they're moving in about a month.
So, to your knowledge, everything she said was on the mark.
Yes.
Randy.
Yes.
Comment.
Hardly any comment on that, Larry. That applies to thousands of your viewers that are watching the program right now.
Well, but she can't
and it applies to me as well.
That's right. I can't win.
It applies to you. Your mother died of cancer quickly.
No, not of cancer, but the new house thing, that applies. Yeah, let's take what we can get out of this sort of thing. It is such a common thing that these things will apply to somebody.
We've taken 2 calls, and so far it's 100%.
No, it's not 100%, Larry. You can't look at it as 100%. These people are fitting these things to the needs of Rosemary. What they're doing is exactly what she wants them to do, searching for some sort of a connection somewhere along the line in order that make the thing work. She just mentioned a new house or moving, that sort of thing. That applies to almost everybody within a certain period of time. So it's universally applicable.
What could she have said? Give me an example of something she could have said that would have blown your mind.
Well, come up with a name or a very distinctive bit of appearance, not just heavy or not heavy, with a smile and she loves you and that sort of thing.
You know, as if
come
she
up
would
with
have
some
said,
evidence.
Your mother's name was Molly and she had a scar across her cheek. That would
then
have
we've
impressed
got
you.
it, yes.
Okay.
But if it applies to everybody, Larry.
If I can say something here, James, I actually understand where you're coming from. I am not being patronizing. I understand where you're coming from.
Oh, I know that you
However,
understand it, yes.
Please allow me to finish. We're on a TV show. We have to be quick, we have to be fast. Larry, you know that.
It's live.
You know, it's live, and, you know, and also we have to be somewhat entertaining when we're doing it. What I would say to this woman, if I had an hour on the telephone, not sitting opposite someone necessarily, not reading their face or whatever it is we're supposed to do, but if I had an hour or even half an hour just to sit with this woman quietly, maybe we would get the name of Molly and the scar on the face, and we would get 1,000 other things, other details. I've done it. But we're on a TV show, and it's hardly fair to sit and judge on a TV show.
Have you ever watched someone do it for a half hour or an hour, Randy, with a subject?
Oh, yes. I've sat through endless hours of this sort of thing all over the world in several different languages.
And they never seem to produce. You've never seen anyone that you at all could say, boy, there's something here?
No, never. Or I would have given away the $1 million long ago.
We'll take a break and we'll be right back with more phone calls. This is Larry King Live. Don't go away. Tulsa, Oklahoma for Rosemary Althea and James Randi. Hello.
Yes, I would like to ask Rosemary if her voices are audible, and I would also like to ask her if she can contact someone who has been gone that was very close to me.
Yes, sometimes the voices are audible. Sometimes I hear them rather, the sound is sort of rather like something seeping through my skin. But without you being specific, I'm sort of hanging myself here, I know, but without being specific as to who it is you'd want to speak to, I can say yes, I'm sure that certainly if given time I could connect with many people who are close to you. But as I am speaking to you, and this is sort of a little bit unexpected and different for me.
She didn't tell you anything.
No, and I don't know if what I'm going to say means anything to her either. But as I'm just thinking to myself, I can't really see anyone or hear anything, I have caught a glimpse, a man standing slightly to my right and in front of me, actually wearing a uniform, in fact wearing a strange hat which I can only think is like a beret. My father used to wear a beret, so I'm associating that. And wearing a uniform of some kind. He is describing to me having had some problems. I can tell you this man is tall, slender build. That's all I can tell you in the time we have. But he is talking about his leg and talking about an injury to a leg. Now, it wouldn't surprise me at all if this lady was completely confused by what I'm saying, because it's very sketchy to me too.
What do you make of that?
Well, my father was very tall. He was 6'5". He was in World War II. Oh, excuse me, World War I. I know nothing about a beret. However, my dad was an old Southern gentleman, and he always wore a hat. And when he went away, his cowboy hat went into the casket with him.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with his legs, though.
Right.
I didn't see, I have to be honest, I didn't see a cowboy hat. I didn't. I just saw a strange hat with this kind of a funny thing at the front, and it reminded me of my father's beret. That's what I can
say. A great-grandfather died of Civil War of an injury to the leg.
Mm-hmm. Could have been him.
Could have been.
Okay. Now, James, what do you make of that call first? And then I know... No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, what you see now, Larry, is this hunting thing. We have the father, we could have the brother, the uncle, we could have the son.
But that caller didn't even say it was father, mother, brother, sister, and she got a male.
Yeah. But she's got half of the spectrum to work with, male or female. And she did hit on male, that's true. So she had 50% of a chance of being correct there. But you see, this man, in his reconstruction of it, is going all the way back to his grandfather to try to make it fit. So we got two different people involved here.
Because he's trying to make...
The person that's having the reading done is forced into making it work.
All right, now, Rosemary was saying to me during the break that she doesn't think there's any way anybody could get you $1 million because you have set up a condition that's impossible.
No, that's not true at all. We make the rules in advance in agreement with both sides.
Okay. First of all, I think that James is talking about people like me performing tricks and using tricks and so on and so forth. And I think, James, you have a pretty good trick up your sleeve too, because I think the $1 million is totally unobtainable. Because let me finish. What I think you're doing is you're saying, basically, I want you to get through this door. Okay, which seems to be a fairly easy thing, and it sounds really, really plausible that someone like me might be able to get through that door, except you fail to tell us that Behind the door, you stand or someone you know stands with a lock, and you pick that lock, and you're there with another lock.
Nonsense.
And you're shaking your head, but I am saying to you, you're doubting me. You have every right to, and I understand your skepticism, but I have to tell you that I believe your $1 million is completely unobtainable.
James,
and
give
it's
us a
great
simple
trick.
example. What might be something you would ask her to do that could win her $1 million? I know about writing it all up and everything. Give me an example. What you meet with her next week, you would say to her what?
We would sit down and determine what she believes her powers are and to what extent they go, how far they will go, with what accuracy they will go, and then we would agree on a set of questions that would be asked that would have to have answers correct within a certain degree.
A question like,
we can
like
do this.
what? All right, give me an example.
Such things as the gender of the person, that's a yes or no. That's a binary question, either right or wrong. Related or not related, old or young, and we'd have to determine what that would mean too. A set of binary questions like this could easily decide whether or not Rosemary has the power.
And how many questions would you want to have her respond to?
It depends on what she says she can do and with what accuracy.
With what you've seen tonight, what would you set up? How many questions?
Oh, I would set up at least 40 questions.
And if she were right on 35, would she fail to get the $1 million?
You'd have to talk to a statistician about that, Larry. I'm not a statistician.
What would you give the $1 million for? What would you give the $1 million for? What would you give the $1 million for? Would she have to get 40 right?
Another
I can't talk the statistics with you. We have to refer that to our statisticians.
Another lock on the door. It's a very good trick, James, and I applaud you.
There are no tricks being involved here by me, Rosemary. The tricks are on your part. I don't play tricks on people when I'm doing these tests.
Well,
we agree on the test in advance, and you either pass or you don't pass. Will you try, yes or no?
I'm asking a simple question, James. What is passing?
It depends on what the test is, Larry. We have to assign the statistics to it.
A 40-question test, what passes? Well, you know you're going to give away $1 million.
That's true.
The statistician, I assume you know statisticians.
No, I don't. I know statisticians. I don't know statistics.
So if she met with you tomorrow, you couldn't tell her how many of the 40 she'd have to answer.
Yes, I could, because I would have the right people on hand to advise me on the statistics.
And if they told you she was 30% right, that would be considered extraordinarily accurate. You'd give her $1 million. If she had 30 of the 40 questions right.
If that were the statistical expectation that we could have, yes.
Ah, but who sets the expectation? You can't tell us. You have to give the statistician the expectation.
That's right.
What are you asking him to give you?
The statistician will tell us what is significant in a set of binary questions, yes. The statistician will tell us if there were 40 questions, she would have to get X number right. If there were 50 questions, she'd have to get another number.
And he or she, the statistician, would define significant.
I have something I don't understand. I have something here that I don't understand. Because if James, what you're doing and this deal is really genuine and you really expect to give away this $1 million.
No, I don't expect to give away, no.
Okay, well, you put it out there.
I'm offering it to you.
Okay. If you, well then, you know, if you're seriously offering, not just to me, but to anyone, I would have thought you'd really got this down. You'd have had your numbers, you'd have had your statistician. I mean, $1 million is a lot of money. You don't just give it away and then come on a TV show and say, well,
it all depends on what you claim your powers are and what your accuracy is.
I'd love you to listen to this show. If you're recording this show, I would love you to listen to this show afterwards, because you are doing to me, to us, exactly what you're claiming I do to other people. You're doing exactly.
I got to get a break, but I want to have James respond. We'll come right back with Rosemary and James. Don't go away. I'm not on. Dubuque, Iowa. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you for taking my call. I just wanted to touch base with Rosemary. Hello?
James, you're not hearing the call? All right, go ahead, ma'am. I'll repeat it, James, if you don't hear it. Okay.
Yes, I just wanted to touch base with Rosemary. I just felt this need to give her a call. And I lost someone real close to me about 2.5 years ago. And I wanted to know if she could tell me something about it.
You're not telling us, is it a mother, father, what?
It's my mother.
Okay.
Well, I am right away from your mother, I have to tell you, because I actually, as this lady was talking to me, and I still see her now, I see a young girl, probably around teenage maybe a teenage, who died very suddenly and very tragically due to an accident. So, I mean, I know this is not your mother, but I can see her. She's standing in the studio. She's standing right in front of this camera over here, and she is describing this accident, which was very sudden. She's talking about a bike and a bike accident. I'm probably confusing this lady enormously, but that's what I'm seeing very, very clearly. I actually I'm catching brief glimpses of a lady. I'm really lousy at description. She's certainly fatter than I am. She's a rather plump-built lady. She has some heart problems.
Did you any association with that young girl caller?
No, I cannot find any.
Okay. Did your mother die of heart problems?
No, she didn't.
Okay, so you're not seeing the mother then. Now, Randy didn't hear the early part of the call, so this is not.
What I would say to this lady, and I know it's happened on this show. You know, we tell people something, and I would say to you, please go home and check with your family about this young girl, because somehow she's connecting to you and sees you as a connection to someone in your family.
And James, you say that's a cop-out, right?
I believe it is a cop-out, Larry, because she is now making these people search for an answer somewhere or another. I've heard these people say that it applies to somebody else in the studio or someone in another building nearby. They make it work somehow. It's got to apply to someone. If you say you have a transvestite brother-in-law named Percy, someone's going to have that brother-in-law with that name.
What happens if this lady goes back to her family and says to her father, for instance, you know, Rosemary saw a young teenage girl who was killed on a bike, and he says, my sister was a teenager and was killed on a bike. And that happens over and over and over again.
Would that be a point in her favor to your questionnaire, James?
Oh, certainly it would, Larry, yeah. But we're dealing here with things that are so widely dispersed, you know. There's so many guesses being made, so many, if you count each one of them, you find that there are many more than you expected and many more than you remember.
I got to get another break, and then we'll have some final thoughts from our guests. Don't go away. We've had one person holding. I will take it. Quickly, please, because we're running short on time. Pelgrimo, Ontario. Hello.
Hi, Larry. Thank you for taking my call. Rosemary, I've lost Mom and Dad, and I just wondered if they were okay or if you know anything about them.
Can you answer that quickly, because I have to
The answer is absolutely yes. I'm sure they're together, they're okay, and I'm sure James Randi is going to say something about that answer, but I believe it 100%.
James, do you think Rosemary is deliberately defrauding, or do you think she believes what she's saying?
Well, now that I've seen her a little closer in operation, she's doing cold reading. It's the old technique. It's very, very old, and it has all the earmarks of this guessing game and talking nice to people. She never uses the word dead, you notice.
It's false.
But I actually don't believe in the word dead.
Well, what do you call a mouse that's been run over by a truck?
I call that a mouse that has been run over by a truck. I believe in the spirit world. I will take a lie detector test anytime.
Oh, never mind the lie detector test. You know very well they won't work. Come on.
Well, actually, Larry agrees with me.
No,
do a test.
With the right person doing it, lie detector tests are fairly accurate, Jim, but you'd want more than that, right?
I don't want lie detector tests, Larry. I want an actual test for evidence. Evidence will speak for itself.
No, you're right. Can I answer that? Evidence does speak for itself. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I have testimonials from millions
Testimonials
of people
are
all over
not
the world.
evidence.
Evidence proves it's right.
I hope the two of you can get together, work something out, and hire a statistician. Thank you, James Randi in Miami. Thank you, Rosemary Althea here in Los Angeles, author of You Own the Power. A couple of quick program notes. Friday night, George Carlin is a riot. Next Tuesday night, exclusive with Paul McCartney. We invite you to stay tuned now for CNN Tonight. It's next. We thank Rosemary Althea and James Randi for being our guests. I'm Larry King, and we thank my friend Pat Sajak for sitting in last night with that great show on the death of Anthony Quinn. Good night.